Hey guys, and welcome back to a new trade recap today on US30. But before we get started, make sure to claim your ScalperPro free trial if you haven't yet. All you have to do is click on the first link in the description, and by simply filling out this form, you get access to a 10-day free trial of the ScalperPro. Alright, but let's get started with today's trade recap. Alright, now we are on TradingView, and as usual, we are looking at the US30 chart on a 5-minute time frame, 8 cap as a bro cap, and the common indicators, the ScalperPro indicator, hidden up here because we only used the candle coloring feature of the ScalperPro with the strategy, and the Session Pro VWAP with the stochastic RSI with crossover alerts. So right now we see we got a bearish crossover right here, but yet we have a blue candle and we're still above the VWAP. So we would wait for a bearish colored candle and white closing below the VWAP. We did not get it, and now we see some bearish momentum to the downside with a new bearish crossover. That's nice. So with that very next candle, we already know that we could enter into a potential short. This short, basically a small decision that you could have made, would have made not so much of a difference, but it could have made. Because on this trade live, I also called it out on Discord, so make sure to join us on Discord if you are not on our Discord server already. I placed my stop loss using the ATR stop loss placement. I did not want to give it that extra room because if price is reversing and not following the momentum to the downside, I want to be in the opposite side of this trade. I want to be in long. And by placing my stop loss up higher, I am trapped in the short basically until my stop loss is hit. And I do not want that. So in this case, I placed my stop loss using the ATR bands. And my stop loss has been hit after the next 10 minutes. So the next two candle closes. This candle right here hit my stop loss. But on that very same candle, I got a new long entry. So my plan during live trading, I like said, already mentioned it on Discord, worked out because now I actually get a way better entry with this beautiful pin bar and another pin bar, a smaller one, on this crossover because we have now bullish colored candles with a bullish crossover. I placed my stop loss at the body low of this candle, targeting again a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So let's see how this trade played out. So with that very next candle, we see momentum didn't really continue. With this one, it did. And here's the thing. Even if you would have placed, with your first trade, you placed your stop loss at the swing high, it wouldn't have made a difference because right here, you would have been stopped out on this very candle right there. And on this candle, our stochastic RSI crossover would still be valid because the stochastic RSI crossover is valid for 3 candles counting in the candle close where it crossed over. So on this entry where you got stopped out, placing your stop loss at the swing high, you would have also entered long right here in case you placed your stop loss right here at the swing high. But in the end of the day, it did not even make a difference because at the 3 AM opening, the London stock market opening, we actually had this massive dump to the downside. We never reached our break-even point. But now again, at the same time, we've been stopped out. We got a entry short. So what did I do? I entered right here, placing my stop loss at the VWAP for a 25 pip stop loss. It's above the 50% retracement of this candle. So I felt pretty safe that this trade is not going to stop me out on a retracement. So let's see, I targeted a 2-to-1 risk to reward and the momentum continued perfectly without pulling back too much. So we can see right now our take profit has been hit and this has been a winning trade. But I just remembered correctly, I did not take this trade on my funded account. The reason for that is because very likely I had those 2 losing trades and I sort of froze in that moment. Once I saw this massive candle to the downside, hitting my second stop loss of my second trade, and I froze because I looked on my MetaTrader chart and this candle looked so massively big and I just couldn't hit the sell button. But I wrote it down in my journal, and I will make sure that this is never going to happen again. So, lesson learned. Unfortunately, I could not capitalize on this 2% profit this trade would have made. But anyway, I kept on trading on this Tuesday during the London kill zone and waited for a new bearish crossover for a potential entry short. We see the stochastic RSI was about to cross over, but it did not cross over yet. So we wait until we get this crossover, and on this up close candle, we actually received it. Because we don't have a significant swing high being formed yet, I used the ATR bands, placed my stop loss right here at this upper ATR band, going for a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which was nice, because therefore we need to form a new lower low. I also caught this trade out on Discord, mentioning it at while the candle was still forming that we have a potential short coming up. And we see we never got very close to our stop loss, so we don't have to worry about spread. And our fourth trade hit our take profit target. At this point in time, we are now looking at 2% profit if we would have taken all the trades and all the signals that came up. Alright, so now we made a new lower low and we wait for a new bearish crossover above the 50 level for a potential entry short. And we received it at 4:55. We have only 15 minutes left in this London kill zone, but luckily we got another entry. So this was an up close candle, so our entry would be right up here. And if we check the ATR is almost perfectly lining up with the swing high. So I place it at the swing high. Because I already missed out on this trade, I did certainly not want to make the same mistake again. And targeting a 2-to-1 risk to reward. I already said luckily I took this trade because it eventually hit your take profit. Because even if we would have used the ATR stop loss, we would have still hit our 2-to-1 risk to reward very easily, also with that next candle, I think. Now that's actually the reversal point, so we went down and then we completely reversed. Now, so we would have also certainly with spread as well hit our take profit target, even going for the ATR stop loss, making this London kill zone a very profitable 4% gain on account London kill zone. And with Monday's percent profit that we made during London, we're now looking at a net profit of 5% already, and it's just Tuesday. Just Tuesday, after 2 days of trading, we already made 5% net profit. So now let's move over to Wednesday's London kill zone. I'm not going to include Tuesday's New York kill zone into this short trade recap because I don't want to make those trade recaps too long. That's really important because most of the viewers don't even watch more than 5 minutes of it. So I try to keep them as short as possible. Alright, so in Wednesday's London kill zone today, we also open up, we're above the VWAP and we see the stochastic RSI is below the 50 level, so we would expect a long entry to come up very soon. We see we came back to the VWAP, the stochastic RSI is about to cross over. It did not cross over on this candle close right here, and then we actually went below the VWAP. So right now, we could still very easily get into a long trade. All we need is a blue colored candle with a close above the VWAP, so we could already prepare for that. So let's see what that next candle brings. We closed below the VWAP, so we did not take the signal yet, but we got that crossover, and we know the crossover is valid for 3 more candles, unless the stochastic RSI goes above our 80 level. Alright, with that very next candle, we eventually got our entry. I placed my stop loss right here at the swing low. ATR also lined up, targeting a 2-to-1 risk to reward. Let's see how this trade played out. We saw momentum continued into our direction. We got a nice pin bar to the upside. We retested the VWAP once more. Then we got a bullish crossover, still holding support on the VWAP. Again, holding support on the VWAP. Consolidating quite some time, and then I saw those wicks to the downside. And now it's the 3 AM open, the London stock market open. So I expected some volatility. I saw the momentum to the upside, so I've been pretty happy about this trade. And if we look at it, it did not hit our 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio for us to break even. Why do I mention it? Because on that very next candle, we've been stopped out, and at the same time, we have been triggered into a new short trade. And very similar to the trade you just saw yesterday on Tuesday, right over here, we got a massive candle at the 3 a.m. opening. Okay, today on Wednesday, it was delayed by 5 minutes, but still a big candle. But here's the small but important difference. Now that you see both entries next to each other, today the VWAP is below the 50% level, or maybe just exactly at the 50% level of this candle. And I want to allow it to retrace it to a 50% level. The trade idea would not be invalidated if a wick goes like this. Trade idea is not invalidated. So I decided to place my stop loss at this body high. I know a pretty big stop loss of 26 pips, but still, compared to yesterday, pretty much the same amount in pips with this big, let me go back there, with this big move to the downside. Here we went for 25 pips, still valid. Choosing the body high would be 36, so I hope you get my point here. And also the 50% retracement level of this candle is below our stop loss, so that's fine with me. I also mentioned it on Discord that I'm going to place my stop loss there, so not an issue for all the Discord members. Going for this 1 bar stop, we were looking for a 50 pip take profit target, and pretty similar to yesterday, we continued with that momentum pretty much immediately. We saw with that second candle after our entry, we almost hit our 1 to 1.5 risk to reward level, somewhere around here. Let me see, 1.65, 1.5. I'm getting better at spotting the 1.5 risk to reward ratio automatically. Today during the live stream I caught it spot on. Alright, so we see we pulled back, we hit our 1 to 1.5, so now our stop loss is at break even, and eventually we hit our take profit target. Not a problem at all. Alright, so this was our second trade, and we are now up 1% because we lost 1% here, we made 2% here, 1% net profit. Alright, so now we would be waiting for a new entry opportunity short into this market. We see we continue to drop actually, but we wait for the stochastic RSI to go back above the 50 level and cross over. And we got our entry right here on this candle. So I entered into this trade right here with our stop loss right here at this body high. Also mentioned it on our Discord channel, going for a 2 to 1 risk to reward ratio again. But unfortunately, we've been stopped out very quickly on this trade. So now we're back at break even for the day. And we're still looking at 5% net profit for the week during the London kill zone. And as we can see, it's now 4:25. We had a candle closing above the VWAP. So now theoretically, we would be eyeing longs. We saw some consolidation happening today above the VWAP. We got our bearish crossover, so with a simple candle close below the VWAP, we were waiting for a short, but we did not get that short within our kill zone. The 5 a.m. candle closed, and even after that, we did not get the entry. I think 10 minutes after that. Yeah, here that's where we could have had an entry if the candle is wide, but at the same time, the stochastic RSI is already below the 20 level. So today on US30, we successfully broke even during the London kill zone. So this is pretty much already the end of the video. Like said, I want to keep those trade recaps as short as possible and still include as much value as I possibly can, going over every trade and recapping the date at the trading day, candle by candle, also going about my thoughts, how I'm placing my stop loss and what would make sense, so you can improve for the next London kill zone. Today I also streamed live on YouTube, so make sure to check out that live stream during the New York kill zone. Unfortunately on US30 we just had 2 losing trades, so this didn't work really well, but it's part of the strategy. We do not always have winning trades. That's very important. We also have losing trades. But I recently shared on the Discord a little divergence strategy of mine that I used to trade with when I freestyled the ScalperPro. A nice little divergence strategy, and I actually caught a nice 1.8 risk to reward, actually a 100 pip move on US30 during the New York Hill Zone in this live stream. One of our community members actually took that trade and managed to break even after 2 losing trades that he had prior to my call on US30 during the New York Hill Zone. And thanks to the call and thanks to the live stream, he actually managed to break even. So, well done. Great signal. And yeah, make sure to check out that strategy on our Discord server. You will find it in the ASAT analysis section. And that's it for me. I will see you tomorrow again for the London Kill Zone starting at 2 AM on our Discord server. So until then, enjoy the rest of your day and until tomorrow.